Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Experts Eating Cake. I have got the most amazing woman coming on to speak to me today. She is an expert at helping ambitious people grow businesses that they actually love. She's a business strategist. She's an author. She's a lady who puts on the most amazing events. It's Emma Hine. Where are you lovely lady? Here we go.
I'm here. Hello.
As if we haven't done this already. We just dropped out and we've had to start all over again.
But there's a Brucey bonus to getting to do this twice. We get to eat cake twice.
Yeah, I know. And it's a blooming good job you got backup cake. And it's a blooming good, because I haven't got backup cake today. I've got cake somewhere in the house, but I haven't got backup cake. So it's a blooming good job that I had a big cake that I didn't eat.
Nail the lot. Very true. Very true. Yes.
Very, very good. Oh my goodness, what a palaver. Anyway, nobody knows about this except for us. It's just us being
but we just told everybody anyway, because just
tell the truth. People will understand.
Exactly.
We are going to be eating cake yet again, because we don't just get to do it once, we get to do it twice. And what's better than one cake? Two cakes. Here we go. I got my cake as well. I did say that the story about my cake was that my sister-in-law came yesterday, and she went to a bakery, bought herself a sandwich, and then as she was leaving, they asked her if she wanted a cake, and she saw it and she said, yeah, I'll get cake. But she got two cakes and she didn't know why, because she knew she wasn't going to eat two cakes because she's had bariatric surgery. But when she came to my house, I says, well, that cake's for me, don't you know? And she left it for me. So we've been sniffing it. It actually smells so nice.
It smells good. You also now know it tastes nice, but we'll pretend we don't know that. We will pretend we don't know that. I feel like
we know something else about your cake that we never knew before. What do we know?
Oh, my cake, I thought I'd bought a chocolate cake because I got very excited by the, I'll tell you the second cake, the pink sparkles, the little love hearts. So I just bought the cake, thought it was chocolate cake, because chocolate cake is my favourite cake in the world. It's red velvet, which is, it's a bit more, I don't know, does red velvet have like fruity? Is it more fruity?
I don't know. I never understood red velvet. I thought it was just a weird American.
Yeah, well, now it's open. I can see it's not the same depth of brown as chocolate cake. It's more like got that reddy colour through it. So it's not that I didn't like it. It just wasn't what I expected. But I bought it based purely on the fact that it was pink.
Pink and sparkly.
Pink and sparkly. Little teeny love hearts all over it, which is very me. So yes, but it is still very, very yummy. It is still very yummy.
Brilliant. You eat it. I was going to say that one of the things that you're doing, because you're a bit of a mentalist like me, is and you set yourself weird challenges, very much like I get into things accidentally because I do things for funsies. But one of the ethos of the way that you do business is that you bring yourself to your business, you have fun, you learn to love it, you do things that challenge you and make you feel great about life and business itself. And that's really important, because you bring the essence of yourself into something, you bring more of it. It's a lot easier to bring more of it. So this is the thing that Emma's done. She's coming up to 50 this year, same as me. All the best people were born in 1974. Don't you know? And as a challenge, she set herself a challenge that she was going to get on 50 podcasts and shows like mine. I think, was it in February? You just said you were going to book yourself in February.
Booked in February.
Yeah, and then they were going to go out through the rest of the year, and I think it's quite a nice tribute to your personal growth and your business growth throughout the year, and it's fun, especially when you get invited onto a show like this where you get to eat cake. I bet you anything nobody else is eating cake with you.
Absolutely not. And you know what? More people need to do it. More people need to. It's the best icebreaker ever when you stuff your face full of cake and you've got bits of icing and everything everywhere. So I would 100% be doing this a lot more if cake was an incentive.
I'll get you on again later. We'll come up with another idea of what you're an expert in.
Eating cake.
We'll just have a expert cake eaters eating cake. That would be a good one, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Everything I do involves cake. All my events, there's always cake. I do local networking. I always say to people, if you don't come for any other reason, just come for the cake, because we have the nicest cakes there. So
I haven't been to one of your networking events yet. I've got to go.
You need to come. You need to come. Yes. Yeah. We eat cake. Is that not incentive enough?
Of course it is. Take cake selfies, make cake friends.
Exactly. In fact, one of the ladies, one of my clients who comes to the events every time, she's made it a bit of a mission now that she catches me eating cake at every single event that she comes to. So I'm getting this build up of photographs of me with, full on mouthful of various cakes.
Well. Yeah, I need one of those as well, because when I go to events, I think I make a beeline for the cake. That's it, beeline for the cake. And it'd be nice if somebody caught me eating cake. Every now and again.
Find that friend.
That's good. Right. When you see me at an event, don't forget, get your camera out and cake shot, and I'll do one for you as well. That'll be amazing. That'll be brilliant. So you are an expert. You've been in business in one shape or form for quite a while, but one of the things that you absolutely love to do is make sure that people like yourself who are trying to run businesses and create amazing lives for themselves do it in such a way that it makes sense to them and they absolutely love what they do. I mean, it's not it's not sunshines and rainbows all the time, but we know that there's lots and lots of things that we can do in terms of the strategy and the structure of the business that helps support you in having a much nicer, happier business, which is a lot of what I talk about. So tell us a little bit about how your little journey, it's probably an epic journey, a journey into where you are now and how you help people now. I'm just going to eat my cake whilst you tell me.
You eat your cake, and I'll sit here and tell a tale. So my journey in business takes us right back to 2006. I've been around for a while. I was in corporate at the time. I didn't dislike my job. I didn't particularly dislike the people that I worked with. I said particularly, that's really awful, isn't it? I like most of the people I work with. So it wasn't the people, it wasn't the business, but I wanted more freedom. I wanted not to have to, ask the boss for a day off. I wanted to be able to go and see the children doing the things they were doing, because the kids were much littler back then. So I had this idea to launch my own business, because in my head, run your own business, you can be in control of what you do in terms of your time. So I launched an e-commerce business back in 2006. Now that business grew year on year. The business grew. I left corporate, gave up my day job in 2008. So it was about wasn't quite 2 years, but it was how the timings work from start to finish. It wasn't quite 2 years. So it took me a couple of years to get it to the point where it replaced my salary. But then that business continued to grow, because I know how to grow a business. That's one of the things that I had done. I'm very strategic. I know what you need to have in place. I know all of this stuff that you need to do. So I built the business quite quickly. And before you know it, the business was turning over like multi-six figures. We'd got warehouses. We'd moved from one warehouse to another warehouse to an even bigger warehouse. The team had grown from 1 people, 2 people to 9 people. And then the business tipped the 7 figures. We were turning over in excess of £1 million every single year. And externally, it looked like I had got this dream. I was able to have the things, the financial things that you're able to buy when you've got money coming through your business, the cars, the houses, the villa in Spain, the nice holidays. So externally, I looked like a successful person. I looked like I was living the dream. I think that's the reality of what it looked
that's
like.
What comes through my head when you tell your story. It's the dream that most business owners aspire to. Leave your job that you don't particularly like, be your own boss, do your own thing, follow your passion, create a business that scales up, makes you money, lets you live your life the way that you want to. It seems like a very simple equation, but it's not, is it?
It isn't, because I forgot one really, really important ingredient. It's like making a cake without an egg. I mean, you can make a cake without an egg, can't you? Isn't that a gluten-free cake? I don't know. Anyway, it's like making a cake without an egg. It is never going to be the same. It's not going to give you what you expect. And that key ingredient was me. That key ingredient was the fact that, I was doing this for freedom. Yet what I had created was a business that was, yes, bringing in a lot of money, but I wasn't getting the freedom. I was working up to 90 hours a week. When I was off on these fancy holidays, that people saw me going off on these fancy holidays, what they didn't see was me sat in the hotel room with my laptop, or me sat, we'd got our own place out in Spain. I spent a lot of the time inside the villa whilst everybody else was having the fun outside. So people didn't see that side because I didn't share it. I chose not to share any of that stuff. I wasn't a big Facebook and my life was on Facebook, but I live in a small town. People know what's going on. People can see what is going on. But I didn't choose to share any of the stuff that I was finding hard. Mm-hmm. So over time, this really started to take a toll on my mental health because I wasn't happy. I wasn't living this dream life that it looked like I was dreaming. I wasn't getting the freedom that I wanted to get. In fact, I was probably busier. I was busy. There's no probably in there doing this business than I was back in my corporate days. Yeah, I'd chosen to leave corporate because I wanted more freedom and more flexibility. It was almost like, the children were getting older and they were getting to the point where they sort of had to book in to see me. And that 100% was never what I intended to create. I never wanted.
You veered off the path of what your image of success was. You were almost like a victim of your own success.
Completely. And I just got into the grind. I just got carried away. I just got driven by, something differently. And then once you start to make that sort of money, it's very difficult to change things because with that sort of amount of money becomes a lot more responsibility. I was responsible for a team of people. I was responsible for paying their wages every month to making sure that they could afford their mortgages and all of that sort of stuff. I'd got higher turnover costs because I'd got big premises to cover and all of the things that sit within it. So, in my head, I had to keep going. So I did. I kept going. But the business was a monster and my mental health was getting worse. I was becoming more and more, unhappy with life. I was drinking alcohol till it came out of my ears because what do you do when you've had a bad day? I'm not saying this is right, but, you want to do something to block it out. And for me, that was exactly it. I eat cake now. It's better for me, I think. So I was drinking, ridiculous amounts of alcohol. My weight was plummeting because I wasn't eating. I was too busy to eat all day. And then when I came home, it was just all about, neck the wine, drink the wine, block the day out, and then go to sleep, collapse in a heap, go to sleep, wake up, do it all over again. And, I was pretty low, but nobody knew that because every day I got up, painted on the smile, pretended everything was okay because in my head, that's what people now expected of me. They expected me to be showing up, doing what I needed to do, and to live this lifestyle that I have built because I've built that. I have chosen ultimately.
You were superhuman enough to make that happen in the first place. Now you have to be superhuman to carry that all on your own. Life don't work like that.
No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. And I had numerous moments during that, that period of time. It was 2010 when it first started to become a little bit, something's not quite right here, but it hadn't got severely bad at that point. There was alarm bells, there's things that were warning signs back in 2010 when my youngest was taken into hospital and I had forced time out. It gave me a bit of reflection time. So there was warning signs then. There was more warning signs as time went on. The weight loss, the drinking. There was lots of things that that were there. Am I okay with a trigger warning here?
Yeah, I will pop it in the description. Yeah.
I got to the point where I felt that the only way to get rid of this business to stop my life being so unhappy was to take myself out of the equation. So I spent months planning my own suicide. And, I am lucky I can still be here to tell this tale today because my husband caught me in time. But I got up the next day as though nothing had happened, put on the lipstick and went to work and carried on doing the same thing over and over again. And I did that after that date. I did that for at least another 6 years, feeling depressed, unhappy, and and continuing to run this business because I didn't know any different by this point. It was part of who I was. This person to just keep being busy with part of who I was. the best thing, the absolutely best thing that has ever happened to me, and I honestly, hand on heart, do not know what happened that morning when I woke up and thought this has to change. But I just got to the end of Christmas 2020 and I just knew that I had to do something about it. And I shut the business that day. The business closed. And I didn't reopen it for 3 weeks. But in 3 weeks, I did reopen it, but with a plan that had been thought through with what I wanted my life to look like, rather than what do I need to do to keep making this amount of money in the business. I took the money out of it completely and thought about what do I want my life to look like, and I had a new plan, which I implemented. 3 months later, March 2021, I should know the exact date, I think it was the 21st, was the very last time that we shipped our own order from that warehouse. That was like the shut off point. This is us done with this business sort of thing. And then this is where the fun started. This is the piece where it was suddenly, okay, so you've grown this business. This business has made you, a shit ton of money. You're making money, but you hate it. It's not making you happy. It's not giving you the lifestyle that you want. It's giving you the complete opposite of what you wanted when you launched the business. What went wrong? What did I do wrong? And that was purely the fact that I forgot me. I forgot to build into the business what I wanted my life to look like. So then I started this exercise of, okay, so what do I want my life to look like? And how can I build a business around that? Because I wasn't about going back into, corporate for me. That was never going to be somewhere I was going. Probably completely unemployable.
Sometimes for some people it actually is.
Absolutely is. Absolutely is.
For a lot of us it isn't.
No, because the one thing that is very clear is the reason I left corporate hasn't changed. Yeah. Even though we're now, at this point we're, 14, 15 years down the line since I left corporate, my reason for leaving corporate still existed. So me going back into corporate wasn't going to make me happy either. But what I knew at this point, and I can't remember when we first connected, but I know when we first connected, it was very much based around this. I just want to make people happy. And you said exactly the same thing. Yeah. We're like, we both want to do the same thing. And this is going back a few years. I think neither of us really knew how the hell we were going to do that.
I didn't know what the hell I was. I still don't know what the hell I'm doing most of the time.
Exactly. But we just knew that was our actual, what was going to make us happy. It was about using what we had within us to enable other people to be happy. Yeah. And for me, it took me a good 12 months to actually even understand what would make me happy. And I think until I understood that, I couldn't really start to work out how I could help other people to do the same until I got to that point. And this is why, I talk about, it's not just about growing a business, because I honestly believe anybody can grow a business if they're prepared to give everything for it. Yeah. It's about growing a business you love, because if you don't love it, at some point, it is going to bite you on the backside. And when it bites, it hurts. And you at that point will either do something like I did. My business was totally sellable. My business was, was totally turnaroundable. Is that even a word? Is that even a word?
I go with that word. Yeah, I think it's a great word.
But there was definitely, as a business strategist, if I'd gone into somebody else's business that was in the situation mine was in, I could have totally helped them turn that business around. Yeah. But me as the business owner was so broken, was so at the end of everything. I just had no fight left in me. I had no time left in me. I had to just completely walk away.
But it comes to something, though. It comes to something, Emma, when you find yourself in a position where you're having to fight everything that you're working towards. It's almost like the polar opposite of what you wanted in the first place. You're creating massive resistance instead of a flow towards the meaning of what your life could be. And you're creating amazing things, but it's really not feeding you to create the life that you want. Because ultimately, if we go into business, I can say, hand on heart, it's very rare I come across somebody that doesn't go into business specifically because they want to create a life on their terms. using the skills that they have without being beholden to somebody else to make the decisions for them. Ultimately, that's the basis of every single business owner that goes into it, even if they're not aware of it. So why, if that was the case, why wouldn't you make sure, and it all comes back full circle, as we always talk about, into self-care, making sure your cup is filled first, and then creating an overflow to be able to spread that to the world. It's the 4 basic pillars of proactive happiness that I keep banging on about in exactly the same way. And what you do is you now help people to sit down, work out what that looks like for them, and action it so that they end up creating exactly what it is that they want. You are a true superstar.
Exactly. But it has to come back to, doesn't it? It has to come back to, what does success actually mean to you? Not what you think other people think is successful, not what Instagram tells you is successful, not what you see, in glossy magazines and the celebrities and all of that stuff going on, because I guarantee half of them aren't happy. They're just showing you the snippets of their life that they want to show you. So what does success actually mean to you? Now, to some people, that might be the 7-figure business, and that's absolutely fine, amazing, absolutely love that. But you've got to do it in a way that you enjoy. You've got to do it in a way that still gives you the other stuff that you want, because what are you prepared to sacrifice for that 7-figure business? And that's ultimately where you've got to get to know what is your main priority. I know if I really wanted to, I can get the 7-figure business back. I know that. And that sounds really cocky confident, but I'm going to say
you can do it again.
Yeah. I know I learned so much in that business that I know what I would have to do differently. I know exactly what I'd need to do differently. I haven't chosen to do that. And I'm not saying I won't do, but for now, I am too busy enjoying what I am doing, because it's almost like I've had all these years of stuff that I've not enjoyed. Now I want to have feelings, emotions, actual memories that I'm making, connections that I'm having, rather than stuff, and things, because I don't want to ever go back to replacing what I call success with having money in my pocket, because to me that wasn't what success was all about. I was focusing on what I thought made me look successful. Now, I've done a lot of work on myself over the last few years. I've had a lot of money has been spent on this person to try and get her back to a point of, being a human, being a human being again, and part of that is really delving into, where did that all come from? Where did I get to that point where I went from, I want a more freedom-based lifestyle, being not unhappy, because I wouldn't say I was unhappy back in corporate. I wasn't living my best life, but I wasn't unhappy. So where did that, I just want a little bit more in my life, turn into, I absolutely hate my life to the extent that I want out.
Yeah.
And it came back to, and this is crazy, but this is how important these things are. And this is why it's important to do this work on yourself. It came back to being told as a teenager by a teacher that I would never be a successful person. I would never make anything of my life. Because I'm a bit of a rebel, okay? But that didn't mean that I wasn't going to make anything of myself. So I then set about subconsciously everything I did, even in corporate. I was a mum at 16. I went into corporate at 18, started at the bottom of the ladder, so to speak, worked my way up really, really quickly. Work hard. Not with the qualifications, because I didn't have the qualifications. My qualifications were all in nappy changing and bottle feeding and all of that sort of stuff. It was just in work hard. And I applied that into my business, but it was less controllable in my business, because in the corporate, it was your job, wasn't it? You did what you needed to do, what was in your control. In the business, I had free reign to actually go and do whatever I needed to do to create this thing.
Yeah, you have to create the infrastructure to be able to hold you to do the business. Whereas in corporate, the infrastructure is already there. You just have to kind of like go and earn the money and, climb up the ladder and do whatever it is. And there's absolutely nothing wrong in that. But when you're talking to business owners who have a purpose and a passion, it's almost like, I don't want to do that anymore. But the first thing that they've got to do is create an infrastructure to be able to support themselves, which is probably one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people, especially these days, because it's absolutely possible, have more than one, not, I wouldn't even say income stream, more than one business or more than one job. Some people have what they call a muggle job, and then they have the business on top. Their passion is in the business, the money is in the muggle job. Personally, I have another business as well, very much like you. And I know that business, it's not that it doesn't light me up. I absolutely love it. It's the Baby Ballet franchise. But my purpose for life, my purpose on this planet is in the Happy Business Club and everything that I do around that. So Baby Ballet kind of took a back seat, but it's helping me, and it's helping me to be able to grow my business because it's providing me with an infrastructure to be able to do that. And that's part of my strategy. It's not necessarily but people don't realize that there's different ways of creating this infrastructure. There's different strategies and different business models. And ultimately, when we're talking about business models, there's lots of different business models that we can actually put names to, but there's lots of different business models that only have our name on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what you help people find.
Exactly. I think that's key, isn't it? I think, once you know exactly what it is you want your life to look like and what success looks like to you, it is then a case of finding a business model, finding a structure that will give you what you want, because there is always a structure. There is always a way. If you want to, not be tied to calls every day of the week, you don't set up a business model that's one-to-one, for example. There is always a business model that you can link into, and you can develop and create. There is no, I get a little bit frustrated with the buy this thing and it will teach you exactly how to build a 6-figure business, follow this thing and you will build. Of course, I'm a business strategist. There are things that you need to have in place in your business, but there are things that you need to have in place. How you put them in place is completely unique and bespoke to you. Because if I said to you, you need to do this exact way, if you hate doing that thing, straight away your business is going to start not becoming a business that you enjoy. It's going to start becoming a chore to get up every morning. Whereas if I say, right, ultimately you need to do this, I can give you lots of ways you can do it, because there is lots of ways to do it. But, is there a way that you want to do it, or however we can do it? We can work out a way that is going to enable you to tick that box in terms of structure and foundations, but in a way that you enjoy, that is still going to enable you to have the growth at the level you want to do it. So absolutely, it's the same with anything in life, isn't it? There are things that we have to do, and there are going to be tasks. There's tasks in my business, and I'm sure there's tasks in your business that you hate. You think, ugh.
I have to go to the shop to buy the cake, and then I have to sit there and not eat the cake. That is one of the hardest things about. Yeah, it's one of the hardest things about experts eating cake. That's why we have backup cake.
That's just not on, is it? You buy the cake, you should be able to eat the cake when you like. Terrible.
It's like, come on, Emma, I'm hungry now. We need to eat the cake now. I'm not leaving it till what we said we were going to do.
I gave you 2 opportunities to eat cake today. What's that about, going the extra mile?
I love you so much. Don't worry, I've got another opportunity later. I'm doing another one of these later.
I'd be recording these like every hour, just so I could sit and eat lots of cake, but wouldn't do my weight any good, would it? But not that needs any encouragement. I eat too much cake. So I don't know what we were on about. I completely lost the flow of things.
It always ends up at cake.
Absolutely. There is always a way that you can build a business model that gives you exactly what you want. The absolute key, and I know I've already said this, is you just need to know what that is, and you need to be honest with yourself what that is. People talk about know your purpose, know your why, know your all of these things. And a lot of people think, oh, that's fluffy stuff. I don't want to know that. Or they're the opposite. I want to know all this stuff. I want to know, this is my purpose in life. I don't want any structure. You actually need both. You actually need both. You need to be very clear on, why you're doing it, what success looks like to you. You need to be completely clear in that, but then you need some structure to make it happen. But that structure does not have to be uncomfortable for you.
Yeah. In your journey, because it's been a bit of a journey, if we're being honest. What have you found that's actually surprised you? What are the realizations that have surprised you about business and strategy and the journey that you were on yourself?
I think for me, there's a couple of things. Whether surprise is the right word, I'm not sure, but there's a couple of things that I've learned that have Yeah, they probably have surprised me. One is that it is not selfish to put yourself first. I think a lot of people are sort of not doing that purely because they think that's selfish. This isn't about me necessarily. It's about making sure I'm keeping the roof over my head. I'm making sure the children have got what they need, mum or my dad or whoever it is that you care for or whatever else is getting the stuff. So for me, that was a big eye-opener, that actually putting myself first makes me a better business owner and makes me a better person to help and serve my clients.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the right place to give them more support, more help, because I'm happy and all of that stuff.
Yeah. And that's where you want it to come from. That's where you want it to come from. When you're the kind of person who actually helps others to see better in themselves, you lead by example. You bring your best self to the table. You make sure that you're there. I always do this as if I'm, holding their bottoms up, that kind of gentle support. But that's what I mean when I do this.
My bottom, love, but yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's like when you're doing that, you're providing them a service, but you're giving them everything that's good from you, so that you can pass that on to them, so that they can see what's good in them. That's the way that our energy works. That's the way our love is contagious, and it is all about love. And I don't know why we're going down this road, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's all about not just the love that you have for other people, but the love that you have for yourself. Because the age-old thing is, you can't love somebody else until you've loved yourself. And to a certain extent, it's actually true, because you need to understand what love is before you can actually offer that to somebody else. You need to be able to create it within yourself to be able to offer it to somebody else. And if you're not doing that in here, you've got literally no way of holding up that big soft bottom of the person that you're trying to serve, and you're doing them and yourself an injustice. So me and you are like twinsies. We love cake. We're the same age. We talk about the same stuff. We wear funky glasses. We're just blooming awesome.
Yeah, we're absolutely awesome. But you know what? There needs to be more people out there who are shouting about some of this stuff. And I think, for me, I think there's a lot of people that, they sell business strategy, they sell mindset, they sell sales coaching, they sell this, and it's almost like that is all that matters. That is the bit that we focus on. And I get it, that's their business. My business is business strategy. However, I talk all of the time about, you cannot grow a business if you do not grow alongside it. I'm not the right person necessarily to help with that personal growth, because I'm not, that's not my skill set. I can help and support, and I'm all for holding people's bottoms. I'm there constantly to do that. Sounds really weird.
To go from hands to bottoms.
But I am totally here to support and nurture people, as much as I can. But the mindset stuff has to be done alongside the business growth stuff. The stuff you were just talking about, this loving yourself piece, that has to be done alongside growing your business, because your business will grow, you won't, or you'll grow and your business won't. The two have to be done side by side. And I think people need to be more open about talking about, and this is the other learning for me, I think, that it's absolutely okay to talk about the things that aren't quite going so well too. Just because you sit there and say, this went wrong, this was really bad, I did this launch and it failed. People assume you can't tell people that, because then they won't buy off me. Then they'll think that, I'm a rubbish business owner because I can't do this for myself. I actually think it's the opposite. And I think it actually gets people to realize that, everybody has good days, bad days. Everybody has good launches, bad launches. Everybody has something that goes wrong at some point in their business or in their life. And actually, it's okay to talk about that. It's okay to talk about the good days, the bad days, and everything in between. And I would, if I'd have known that years ago, I perhaps wouldn't have got to the point that I'd got to in that business, because if I'd have spoken about it, I could have had some help and got some people to help and support me, because we often don't see what's going on in our business because we're so busy being in our business. Other people from the outside can see things that often, sometimes I'll have conversations with clients and I'll tell them something. They're like, that is the simplest, most obvious thing. Why have I not seen that? And the answer is you don't see it because you were just too busy doing the do. You're too busy.
It's those light bulb moments in it, Emma. Those
Absolutely.
like, it's like, what the heck's happening here? Right, off we go. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Exactly. And business isn't complicated. There is nothing complicated to business strategy. There really isn't. It's knowing what to have in place where, it's not complicated. And I'm probably underselling what I do here completely, but that's the way I am. It isn't complicated, but that doesn't mean you can always do it for yourself. That doesn't mean that you always know what's missing in your business. I still pay for people to support my business, yet it's stuff I help other people to do, because for the same reasons. We don't always see it in our own business, do we? But we can see it in other people's.
It's that Dr. Heal thyself, isn't it? But it always starts with, doctor, you've got to bloody heal yourself so that you can actually figure out what it is that you're talking about, so that you can help other people with exactly the same thing, so that so you're one step ahead of them. And it's absolutely ironic. It's one of the biggest paradoxes in life. It's easier to help others than it is to help ourselves, especially in the culture and the age that we've been brought up in. All right, then. Well, let's go to golden nuggets. I think you've probably already said it, but golden nuggets, you can't overstate golden nuggets. The golden nugget is the one piece of advice that you would give to anybody that's listening that has a business that maybe is struggling a little bit with it, or that wants to grow as a business. What is the one thing that they have to remember, the thing that they want to take on board and embody? And coming from Emma, business strategist extraordinaire, go on, go.
I feel like I need to do two, because I feel like one of them isn't necessarily business strategy, because that's a little bit. So I'm a rule breaker. Sorry, I'm a rule breaker here.
I'm good with that.
The absolute key for me in terms of this isn't necessarily to grow your business. This is just to become a business owner. And I've already covered this, but I'm just going to mention it again, because I think it's super, super important that I mention it again, which is make sure you completely understand what success looks like to you. So make sure you understand exactly what you want your life to look like. So when you do the vision board thing, but that has to be what your foundations of your business are then built on. No point creating this is what I want my life to look like, this is what success means to me, and then going off and doing something completely different. Your life and your business are not two separate things. When you're a business owner and you've got a life too, they're the same. You need to find a way that those two things can, integrate with each other.
Yeah, it's not like it's not really like you just lock the door, bugger off and leave it to somebody else. Somebody else will cover for you. It's still there, and it's still there, and it's still all around you, because ultimately it's that responsibility. There's something I wanted to mention here, because we talk about it as if it's our baby. Now, I think one of the things that a lot of business owners, it's not that they get wrong, it's just sometimes it bites them in the backside, is this idea that you're so responsible for your business that it sucks the life out of you. So like a mum with a baby who's having to be the sole, might be a dad, but let's just say for argument's sake that you're a mum and you've got a baby, and that baby is up all night and you have to breastfeed and all the usual stuff that goes with it. And it literally, you wake up in the morning like a zombie, and you've got to have 5 gallons of coffee to be able to, I don't even go down the road of breastfeeding and coffee. Okay, so we're not talking about that. We're talking about this idea that you have a baby that's a business, so your business is your baby. I was like thinking, that's not very helpful. That's almost like you're allowing that business to take control of everything and decide everything for you, because you feel like you've got massive responsibility to make sure that it's okay. It's not that you're protecting your business, it's you're living with your business and you're enjoying your business and creating and plowing your ideas and your values into that business so that business supports you. And I think of it, rather than being a mum and a baby, it's a grandma and a grandchild kind of relationship. So it's one step removed, even though your life and your business are essentially the same thing. You're the same family. If you're the grandma, you get to get the best of the business. You get to impart your wisdom to the business. But at the end of the day, the business is separate from you, and you can take your hands off it so that you can actually then pass it on and make sure that it's still cared for. And I think ultimately, when we start separating ourselves a tiny little bit from our business and creating this little buffer, that then allows us to align more towards the kind of visions that we have, because it's very rare that we have visions. I've not come across anybody yet that's got a vision that they want to work 90 hours a week in their business, completely ignore holidays, families, fun time, relaxing spa breaks. You can love your business, but not to the extent that it's actually going to stop you from sleeping and all of that kind of things. So ultimately, rather than thinking, I know I'm waffling, but I'm trying to get this idea out. Rather than having it as that's my baby, it's like, I'm your grandma. You're the business, I'm the grandma. I'm looking after you. I'm imparting my wisdom. We are going to have the best time together. You're going to grow up and be the best kind of business that you could possibly be because of your grandma's influence. And I will love you to death. And I think that kind of dynamic with your business is so much more, it allows for more freedom. It allows you to go off as a grandma without your business to the Bahamas with your old granny mates, drinking cocktails and eating cake and ogling all the, the hunks. I'm very unpleasant today, aren't I?
I'm there.
Let's go drink cocktails on the beach.
That's a larder for me.
Enough of that waffle. But
no, and I absolutely love that analogy. I absolutely love that analogy, because you're completely right that there needs to be a buffer between the two. And I think this again is why it's so important to make sure that what you build aligns with that. Your version of success aligns with what you want your lifestyle to look like. Because if you put those two things in there, if you have that buffer, if you make sure that you're doing what you want to do and you're loving what you're doing and it's giving you the things that you want to have as well, then you are going to have that buffer. But I absolutely love that analogy. As a nanny myself, I'm a nanny because I'm young, therefore I'm a nanny, not a grandma. That resonates a lot with me, because being a nanny is completely different to being a mummy. It's completely different experience. You love them just as much, but you do say ta-ra. Your turn.
What was the second thing? You said you wanted two things.
Did I? I don't know now. Come on, perimenopausal brain is like completely.
Well, maybe that's an excuse to get you on again so you can give us your other golden nugget.
Yes, what was my other golden nugget? I have not got a clue. I have not got a clue. It was probably something to do with business.
Oh, dear.
I was getting too carried away with your analogy. I was loving that. Absolutely loving that.
And that's what I end up spending my time doing, sitting there thinking about silly things like being a grandma.
I love an analogy. I talk a lot about analogies. If anybody follows me on socials, you'll see me talking about, comparing business to a crisp butty, to all sorts of random things, because it makes sense, doesn't it? It makes people, you can understand these things if you put them together that way. So
Quick one though. Have you seen Wonka?
I haven't watched it yet. I've seen. No, I'm one of these people that I don't watch masses of television. I just don't watch masses and masses of it. So I've got like about 4,000,001 things to catch. I haven't even watched Barbie yet. That's how.
Don't bother about it. Listen to me, Emma. Listen, you've got to watch Wonka, because if you do what I do, and I strongly suspect that you do, you find meaning in the randomest things. Now, Wonka isn't really a random thing, because ultimately Wonka is the story of an entrepreneur, and it shows you not the conventional story, the way that the story usually goes for the entrepreneur, what kind of things thrown in the path, the kind of things that they overcome, the kind of values that they need to have to overcome them, how to get to the other side, how they're building a dream, all that kind of thing. And every single part of the story, somewhere along the way, there's a lesson that relates to entrepreneurial spirit and the way that people like you and me and the people that we know in our field actually build their businesses. So for that reason alone, you need to go. The next film you need to go and watch is Wonka. I highly recommend it. Now we're going completely off topic, because I wanted you to tell us what, if somebody wants to come and see Emma and say, Emma, help me with my business. What do you offer?
Oh, I offer lots and lots of things. The core, I'm going to tell you a couple of the core things. The core things are my events. Now, I launched the growth event last year, and I launched the growth events. I'm quite spontaneous. I like to live in the moment. I like to focus on, you've probably already realized this, I like to focus on the things that I enjoy doing. And one of the things I absolutely love is being amongst people. I love being in a room with people. However, I am one of the most introverted people there. I'm getting much bolder and much more confident, but walking into a room used to frighten the heebie-jeebies out of me. But I absolutely love connection. I love what connection can give you as a person and also as a business owner too. So I wanted to start to create some spaces of my own. So I launched the growth event last year, and I ran it twice last year. And it is an event that is made up of like 2 sections, really. One is about, personal stroke business development, because we have some amazing speakers on stage that's talked to us about ways that we can grow. Now, that is business growth, that is personal growth. You heard me talk earlier about you can't grow your business if you don't grow personally. That's why it's important that I bring speakers that cover all of that sort of stuff there. So we will go from, the strategic stuff that you need to do, right down to, I say right down, it could be right up, whichever way it goes, right through to, talking about the woo stuff, talking about everything in between, anything. The speakers are very, very varied that we have. So we have the speakers, but the day is broken up so that we get some breaks with cake, of course, and also some savoury canopies too, and Prosecco. We end the day on Prosecco. So we break it up and have some, I call them like mingling sessions in between. So it's networking, use whatever word you want to do, but just some breakout time where people can just go and meet and mingle with other people. And I know there's been some amazing connections and collaborations that have come out of my events purely because it's so relaxed. It's nothing, it's not formal. They're not huge. They're great fun. So I run those twice a year, and that is the growth event. The next one is in May, just after this is out, I believe. Super exciting. And then there'll be another one in October. So that's the growth event. I do all the little events too. So it's always worth checking out my website to see what little events I'm running. But the growth event is
down below, links down below.
The growth event is the big thing. And that's sort of become the heart of my business now. Connection has become a real big part of my business. And then the second way that is, I'm going to tell you about this one because this is there all of the time, would be my membership. My membership is the Growth Lounge. And it's a 3-tier membership. So depending on where you're at in your business, there is a tier that will help you, from foundation, which is more for those that are in startup stage. That's about learning still, absorbing more information, the things that you need to know to get you going, to get your business sort of up and running a little bit. We have an implementation level in the middle. This is for people who know a lot of the stuff now, but now they need a bit of a foot up the bum, a bit of accountability. So that includes things like, it's a bit more mastermindy. So it includes things like hot seats, implementation sessions, lead gen calls, the stuff that makes you do things, because we're terrible, aren't we, for learning and not doing anything with it. And then there's the expansion tier, which is the top tier, which includes some one-to-one time with me as well, and a quarterly event, in-person event.
That's growing your business.
That's growing your business.
What you're doing, let's do more of that.
Exactly. So that's very much about you've got the business established, it's up and running now. Now we need to go and, what do we need to do with grow it? What you will find with anything you do with me, be one-to-one, my membership, my mastermind, there will always be a lot of mindset support in there as well. So although I help you to grow your business, I will always make sure that there is safe spaces for you to have somebody to give you that help and support. And my mindset person that follows me around most of the time, who I drag around with me, is a therapist. So you can go as deep as you need to go in terms of that stuff, because that was part of my journey, getting to the point where I could just have some conversations without feeling judged. I think that's the word to use, isn't it? To actually without feeling judged. So I tend to bring those people with me. So they're probably the two. There's lots of other ways, but those are the two.
Well, we'll stick with those for now. If anybody wants to find out more about everything that Emma's talked about, the links are down below. You just literally clickety-click away you go. Get in touch with Emma, find out more about her membership and her growth event. I think I'm going to have to click on the link myself, I think, and find myself booking onto the October one as well, because it sounds bloody awesome. And it's probably one of those spaces where I get to go and see all my mates as well. And
Absolutely.
I don't get to do that very often. So to me, it'd be an absolute no-brainer. Right, just to finish off, please tell us some weird stuff or a weird fact about you.
A weird fact about me. Okay. When I was little, I was in a marching band, but I can't play a musical instrument. I'm completely tone deaf. I have no coordination. Yeah, I have no coordination. So colour guard, move left, Emma's gone right. So I used to do competitions, but I walked around pretending to play an instrument because I was that bad.
You were the kid that they just let you go along because they felt sorry for you.
I literally tried everything. I tried all of the things that they got, from little trumpets to great big, I think it was called a mellophone, through to the colour guard. You know, you're spinning the flags and things. No.
Yeah,
but bless. I kept going, and I've got photos of me there with my hat on and my little feather plume in my hat, and I look so cute. But I literally, if a judge ever came near me, it was like panic on, because obviously you wouldn't hear anything out of my. I didn't do.
Oh my gosh! I'm feeling it with you. I'm feeling that sense of panic and confusion.
So never join me on anything like karaoke, because I'm literally tone deaf. I will do it because, you know, hey, YOLO and all that. But yeah, I'm not good.
Oh dear me! Why did we have to end on such a very heart-wrenching part of the story? Just check out Emma. She's fabulous. She believes in happy businesses. She's been through the whole kit and caboodle. She come out the other side. She leads from the front. Just check her out. Thank you so much, darling. You've been an absolutely awesome guest. I'm just gonna give you loads of kisses now.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great fun, and more people need to do these things with cake.
Yay! That was the amazing Emma Hine. Absolutely love that woman, and I can't wait to go and see her in one of her events, because there's gonna be cake, and there's gonna be sunshine, and there's gonna be dancing, there's gonna be friends. And anyway, enough of all that. One more thing about cake. As you may or may not know, I am obsessed with cake, so much so that I accidentally set up a shop called Cake is Life, where you can buy amazing t-shirts that I design based on the phrases that I use around cake. This is my favorite one. I wore this t-shirt just for you today. I eat cake for breakfast. You can't say fairer than that. I'm going to drop a link down in the description below if you want to check out my store, Cake is Life. If you want to buy a t-shirt or whatever so that you can proudly wear it and then send me the picture, that would be blooming awesome. But until next time, go and eat cake, because I'm going to go and eat some more cake too.